Welcome back to the Navy Sports Magazine. We're presented by the Navy Federal Credit Union. Time to shine the light on Navy men's swimming and diving right now with longtime head coach Bill Roberts. And Coach, first of all, Happy New Year to you and yours in terms of the swimming capacity. And you and I in the past talk an awful lot about culture and what it means, but sustaining that year to year, each leadership groups as seniors certainly cycles out each and every year. In your mind, is it something that you have to do as a coach, mention to that senior class, or is it the leadership of the swimmers that have come before them that identifies that for them, and they know when their time comes as a first-classman, it's time to lead themselves?
Superb question, Pete. I think it's a little bit of both, because each incoming senior class, first year class, is going to want to put their stamp on the program, and they're going to have ideas that are very common to their predecessors, but also some things that are going to be unique to their specific class. And then as a coach, I do think you have to adapt. I try to really approach each season 1 year at a time. I know a lot of people do here, and trying to be on the front end of and anticipating what is going to be important to the athletes and what message, and just try to help support them accomplish their goals with that specific team. So we could talk about this one all day. It's a terrific question.
Is it something too that essentially happens in the pool and showing them the work ethic that is necessary each and every day to maintain the success that you all have had, because it has been a winning formula at the Naval Academy?
Definitely in the pool. I think there's moments that occur that are those trigger points for the athletes on any team. I think if you just look at last year's Army-Navy meet, we didn't walk out of there feeling like we won the meet, even though we scored more points than Army did. It was a little bit of a letdown. We didn't perform up to our expectations. Army had a good meet, and so that's one of the moments that occurred that has certainly fueled us throughout the past 12 months leading up to this year's meet. But you have those moments in training, you have those moments in the off season, and it's kind of capturing those when they occur and having those discussions with your team, as they roll out, and trying to decide, all right, what do we want to do? What do we want to look like in 3, 6, 12 months from now?
From a coaching standpoint, over the years, what's been the greatest challenge for you as a coach to evolve? Is it seeking techniques that may help your swimmers, against the clock, which ultimately is, their ultimate foe, or the recruiting aspect of finding, the student athletes that still value a great education and a great swimming experience that the Naval Academy can provide for them?
All of the above. Definitely recruiting's always a challenge. I don't think the same message works year in, year out. I mean, certain elements do, but each year's class, the kids are a little different. And, especially with the impact of NIL and, conferences and everything, it's, kids are always looking for something different each year. So that's a challenge. And then also, I think just with probably the greatest challenge coaching wise is, one of the cool things about our sport is these kids are performing ridiculously fast times coming out of high school. And I think if you go back 10, 12 years, the times that the kids are doing now are certainly just would have been elite back then. And now you got tons of kids doing these times. So for me as a coach, just I don't have a lot of time to figure out why they're swimming fast. I just know I got to get them faster, and I think that's the biggest part. And technique's really important. Mark and I and Jim, we take a lot of pride in technique and moving fluidly through the water, but it's even more than that. It's their mindset and, what they think is good and what they think is elite, and just trying to capture that and move them in the right direction.
I was going to say, what are the traits? Certainly, you eventually have conversations with student athletes, but what are the traits that you look for when recruiting a student athlete who you think can obviously fit what you're hoping to continue to, build here at the Naval Academy?
Yeah, physically, I think in the water, when I go out recruit, I'm going to sit in the back row. I'm going to try not to talk too much and just watch people take strokes and kick underwater and do all that. So that's really important. But the stuff that you don't see in the water and you don't see on paper or, in their resume, the traits that you're talking about, you have to get to know the kids. So super important to call the coach, super important to spend time with the parent or parents, just kind of get to know their background and what they're bringing to the program. But even then, it's imperfect. I just don't think fully the type of person you're getting until you start working with them here. And we just try to improve our chances. But I can't emphasize enough. And I think a lot of coaches here would agree, just the more time you can spend getting to know them and seeing them operate in, semi-stressful environments, I think leads to stronger midshipmen and officers eventually.
We talk about it in all sports, AAU and basketball. 7-on-7 is really enhanced the skill set of football players here of late. What is it about swimming, and seemingly one of the first things that kids get introduced to as youths, as early as 2, in some cases, is the water itself? What has allowed the amateur swimming side now to provide such a start and a head start, quite frankly, as you mentioned, for the quality that you're seeing in the pool even before they get to the Naval Academy?
Yeah, a terrific question as well. I think you got a couple different avenues here. You got your multi-sport athlete that I think is coming back into fashion a little bit. We're starting to see more of that in our recruiting efforts, and that's a good thing. I think that went away for a little bit with specialization and everything. And then the other element, certainly in Maryland, Virginia here, we've got heavy summer league swimming going on. So a lot of people, even if they're not going to be a collegiate swimmer, are getting exposed to the sport. And from that, people, a certain percentage are going to stay in the sport and just, grow and develop and just kind of move towards the more advanced programs and more advanced competition.
I know certainly you try to find as good a competition to challenge your swimmers as you can. So far in the fall, you've been able to find that type of competition, seeing what Jonah just accomplished himself. Thoughts on the momentum you're building, obviously, in front of one of the most important meets, obviously, of the year coming up on Friday?
Yeah, I mean, Jonah's swim was really special. He had a terrific meet, and he was racing just an elite athlete, Brady Samuels from Purdue, and there's only 2 100s that separated those two, but they also had a couple lanes in between them, so they really couldn't see each other because so much of that race is underwater. But Jonah he's matured, he's developed incredibly well. Cannot say enough great things about where he is, just as a leader on this team and what he's done for us. So it's been an honor to watch him progress through the program. And then overall, I think he kind of captures this year's team. They have been relentless and just fearless in terms of growth and improvement and development, and just no limits attitude.
Is that what it's going to take? Obviously, that group to the north has done an awful lot to try and close that gap. You've set the standard so high that they are going all out now to try to close that gap themselves. But is that truly the type of peak you're hoping to see? And obviously in final preparation before this great meet coming up on Friday?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I think the first part of that is, we've got to accept it and embrace it and know that that's going to make us better. And certainly we have felt them coming, over the past couple of years, and they're ready. I mean, we're going to have to go up there and overachieve to produce a result that we expect to achieve, with no guarantees. We're going in as a little bit of an underdog on paper. They've got depth, they've got event winners. It's at their pool. So it's going to be a very exciting, very electric meet, and which we're ready for. But it's going to be intense.
Special thing about this place, I imagine this is one of those weeks where you hear from a lot of those alums and former swimmers that even if it's just a quick, hey, we're behind you, good luck this week. I imagine that's what makes this job so special, isn't hearing from the brotherhood of former swimmers?
Yep, without a doubt. It's amazing. We had a Zoom call last night with our alum. The energy from that population is just, you would think they're going into the meet themselves. We've got people going up, They love it. These memories and experiences that Navy athletics has provided all the athletes, through Army Navy competition is something that they hold on dearly forever. And it's just fun to be part of. It's really a true honor. And I feel like it's my first one. It never gets old. I can tell you that.
I was going to say that every coach will tell you the butterflies never go away when you're facing Army. No doubt about it. Bill, appreciate the time as always. Best of luck to you and your team, and safe travels to West Point, and bring back a W on Friday.
Thank you for having me, Pete. Go Navy.